Disclaimer before we get started, I am not a doctor or a medical professional. This podcast is not meant to give medical advice or education, merely entertainment. If you have a medical question, please ask your doctor. Thank you.
Hello everybody, how are you doing today? Welcome to Crocheting Through Medical History. I am Maria, here to crochet and talk about medical history-ish. What's happening? I am going to be working on this little basket. So I am crocheting this basket. Free pattern. Oh my gosh, this is going poorly. Free basket by. Who is this by? I don't know. It is on TL Yarn Crafts. And it is the beginner chunky crochet basket pattern. And it's actually really cool. If you want to look at it, it uses like the waistcoat stitch. So it like kind of looks knit. It has little V's going down. I'm very excited. I also have this little carrot to put in it, and I'm gonna make little produces. This is for my sister-in-law because she is pregnant with a little baby. So I asked what she wanted, and she said a little produce basket. So that is what I'm making, and it is very cute. I'm so excited. Alrighty, so today we're going to talk about gray hairs. I am still researching arthritis, so we sure aren't talking about that yet, but at least I'm back this week. My face still hurts from this filling. Gotta tell you, I don't think my dentist is very good. I had 2 fillings now. Also, fun fact, when you're on long-term antibiotics, expect to get cavities even if you never have before. I wish I knew this beforehand because it was crazy when I went to the dentist last year and they were like, you have like 4 cavities. And I was like, how? I've never had that before, and I floss every day. Antibiotics did it. Anyway, but I got a filling on my top left molar last week. And it still kind of hurts. And then my ear hurts. Maybe I just have an ear infection and it's making my jaw hurt. Anyway, enough of that. Yeah, so we're just reading articles today because I simply can't research fast enough. So this is on health.harvard.edu, and it is called Why Does Hair Turn Gray by Robert H. Schmerling, MD. It's a very fun name. Oh, I should probably like crochet, shouldn't I? Let's see if this works. It's like not the simplest stitch, but I've also done 7 rounds of it. So hopefully I will be able to read and crochet at the same time. So, if you look at photos of President Obama taken before he ran for president and since he left office, you'll notice a distinct difference. Where there used to be only dark brown hair, there was now far more gray than brown. It seems that the stress of running a country would turn any person's hair gray. But is stress really to blame? And why does the hair turn gray, even for those of us who don't have jobs quite as stressful as President of the United States? In humans, most gray hair is not related to stress. In fact, hair doesn't actually turn gray at all. Once a hair follicle produces hair, the color is set. If a single strand of hair starts out brown, or red, or black, or blonde, it is never going to change color, unless you color your hair. Your hair follicles produce less color as they age, so when the hair goes through its natural cycle of dying and being regenerated, it's more likely to grow in as gray beginning after age 35. Genetics can play a role in when this starts. While being under stress can't change the color of individual strands of hair, stress can trigger a common condition called telogen effluvium, which causes hair to shed about 3 times faster than normal. The hair grows back, so the condition doesn't cause cause balding. But if you're middle-aged and your hair is falling out and regenerating more quickly because of stress, it's possible that the hair that grows in will be gray instead of its original color. That said, a 2020 study of mice demonstrated how stress can lead to their fur. Once again, listen to this sentence because it is as written. That said, a 2020 study of mice demonstrated how stress can lead to their fur may turn gray under stress. Okay. Whether this applies to humans and how often it plays a role in graying hair is unclear. Illnesses that cause gray hair. The vast majority of people with gray hair have age-related graying. However, sometimes graying hair indicates an illness, especially if it occurs at a particularly young age. Health problems that may be heralded by gray hair include vitamin B12 deficiency, neurofibromatosis, also called von Recklinghausen's disease. This group of inherited diseases causes tumors to grow along nerves and abnormal development of the bones and skin. Tuberculosis sclerosis. Nope. This is going well. Tuberous sclerosis, an uncommon inherited condition that causes benign tumors in multiple organs, including the brain, heart, kidneys, eyes, lungs, and skin. Thyroid disease, vitiligo. This condition causes melanocytes, the cells at the base of hair follicles that produce color, to be lost or destroyed, perhaps because the immune system misfires and attacks the scalp rather than the infection. Alopecia areata, a disorder in which patches of hair may be suddenly lost, especially the colored, non-gray hairs. This may lead to overnight graying because previously present gray or white hairs suddenly become more obvious. When the hair growth resumes, it may be white or gray, but colored hair may eventually return. The bottom line: when and how thoroughly your hair turns gray is influenced mostly by the genes you inherit from your parents. Though stress may play a role in the process, it would be more helpful to look at past generations rather than your current stress levels to help you predict when or if you'll go gray. That's true whether you're the President of the United States or someone with a less stressful job. Ta-da! What's happening? Not strong enough for the stitch. Oh my gosh. Oh, so fun fact. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably not, saw last week I posted a story that was like, I'm learning to knit. Because I knew how to knit like years ago and then I forgot. But then my friend wants to knit socks. So I'm learning to knit again. And I like did some rows. I had a little strip. And then I went and hung out with her and I was knitting. And then she was like, Maria, you're knitting wrong. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, like you insert the hook, then you insert the needle like this. You're doing it like this. And I was like, what? So I, in fact, do not know how to knit. I maybe learned, she taught me the knit stitch and the purl stitch for realsies. Don't know if I can do it again. I may have forgotten anyway. But I did make up my own knit stitch, so that's pretty cool. So maybe I don't know how to knit, but I am like an inventor of new crafting techniques. That's kind of like a mix between the knit and the purl. So that's even better, I guess. Anyway, all that aside, second and final article is just facts about gray hair on WebMD. Number 1, all the shades of gray. It said that women's hair is their crowning glory. The most glorious thing of all. Sooner or later, that crown will start to gray. You now face a decision. Banish gray hair with dye or rock a silver mane. Whichever you pick, know the facts about your gray strands to keep your hair looking and feeling its best. More fun facts about me. I wouldn't mind dyeing my hair. Okay, so I've never dyed my hair because it's very dark. It's not black. If you say it's black, you're lying, because it's not black, it is dark brown. So I've never dyed it because I need to bleach it first, and that's terrifying. So when I go gray, if I go gray, I think both my dad's parents went gray. Anyway, when or if I go gray, then I could start dyeing my hair. So I could finally at like 70 have like purple hair like I've always wanted. Anyway, that's not what I was saying. I don't get gray hairs, but I do sometimes get blonde hairs. So now I'm wondering, based on what we just heard, if those are my graying hairs. But then again, that started when I was like 10. So hopefully that's not like premature graying. Anyway, I have one. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like right here. Is it out today? Can you see it? Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, number 2, fun fact, science of grays. Your hair follicles have pigment cells that make melanin, a chemical that gives your hair its color. As you age, these cells start to die. Without pigment, new hair strands grow in lighter and take on various shades of gray, silver, and eventually white. Once a follicle stops making melanin, it won't make colored strands again. Number 3, when and why it happens. You might blame your stressful job or your unruly teens for your grays, but it's mostly your genes that dictate how early and how quickly it happens. So if either of your parents had a full head of gray hair in their 30s, there's a good chance you will too. More fun facts. Sam's mom has a full head of gray-white hair, and I now don't remember when, but she dyed it for a while, but now she looks really good that she just let it happen. So Sam's gonna be like cool with white hair. Anyway, number 4, how race plays a role. On average, white people start graying in their mid-30s, Asians start in their late 30s, and African Americans usually don't see color changes until their mid-40s. What's premature gray? Some people go gray 10 or more years earlier than the average person does. It's premature if you're gray before 20 if you're white, 25 if you're Asian, or 30 if you're African American. Number 6, do health problems turn hair gray? They could. These conditions include lack of vitamin B12, certain rare inherited tumor conditions, thyroid disease, vitiligo, a condition that destroys pigment-making cells on the scalp. Alopecia areata causes patches of hair, usually ones with color, to fall out. This can look like sun grain because the hair that's left is gray or white. When your hair regrows, it could be gray, white, or your normal color. Number 7. Does stress make you go gray? Not directly, but it can cause a condition that causes your hair to shed about 3 times faster than normal. It's possible that when your hair grows back, it's gray instead of your original color. Number 8, the smoking link. Lighting up affects your body from head to toe. That includes the hair on your head. One study showed that smokers are 2.5 times more likely to gray before 30 than non-smokers. It can also make silver gray look yellow. If you want to learn more about the effects of smoking, go listen to my Surgeon General's warning episode from a while back. Number 9, to pluck or not to pluck. There's an old wives' tale that says if you pluck a gray, 3 will grow back. That doesn't happen. Still, don't pluck. You're just delaying the inevitable. Another gray strand will replace it. Besides, pulling hair out can damage follicles so much they no longer grow hair. This can make your mane look thin over time. So I have really thick hair. So if I just start plucking out like the same hair over and over, it could just not grow back. That's a hair thinning technique that I haven't tried. Number 10, do grays feel different? Gray hair is thinner than hair with natural color because its cuticle is thinner. Your hair needs that natural protection from water, ultraviolet rays from the sun, humidity, chemicals, and heat styling. Without that barrier, your hair loses water, so your gray hair will feel dry, fragile, and coarse. African American hair tends to be more prone to damage compared to that of Asians and whites. Number 11. Tame those tresses. Moisture treatment and hair oils can fight dull gray hairs. Anti-frizz products can help too. Heat and light from lamps or the sun can bleach gray hair and make it look yellow. Ask your stylist how to prevent this. A purple tone shampoo can help keep your tresses a vibrant silver. Number 12. Special care for African American hair. Black people's hair usually is thinner, drier, and breaks more easily compared to the hair of people of other races. So comb and otherwise treat it gently, especially if you use chemicals to relax your hair. Add moisture with a light conditioner that penetrates your hair shafts instead of lanolin or other oily treatments that simply coat the strands. Number 13. No dye camouflage. If you're sporting a few gray hairs, you can hide them if you get creative. Wear a pretty headband or switch up your hairstyle. Part it where there's less gray. If you have long hair, wear an updo to hide gray roots. Personally, I don't think it's embarrassing to go gray. So, you could also not. Because, there's nothing wrong with going gray. So just, chill and don't stress out over your hair. Because personally, that sounds exhausting and not what I want to spend my energy on. If you do, go for it though. 14. Or just dye it. You can do it yourself with a box from the drugstore. Look for products designed for gray hair. Permanent dye will better cover stubborn roots than semi-permanent color. If you can afford it, opt for a color treatment at your local salon. If some of your grays won't take in the color, try using a lighter shade that will blend in with the grays. 15. Herbal cover-up. If you worry about the damage from chemical dyes, consider using natural henna. It can add red, brown, or black sheen to any textures of hair. Powdered pigments from the leaves of the henna plant can work well to camouflage your gray roots. Number 16. Go au naturel. If you're ready to ditch the dye, you can go gray gracefully while it grows out. Ask your stylist how much gray you actually have. If it's a lot, you can go lighter through highlights to minimize grow out, or you can switch from a permanent color to a less opaque demi-color, which can make your gray strands mimic highlights and blend in better with the rest of your hair. Numero 17 out of 17. Get the right cut. Rock a great cut with lots of style and texture and get a trim every 6 to 8 weeks. Women who are 100% gray often wear their hair short, but consider long layers. They can be beautiful and add movement to your healthy, bouncy hair. Can attest. Sam's mom has her hair long. It's so cool. Okay, so that was it. Thanks for being here. I almost got a whole row done. It's so cute, though. It's a little basket. Well, that's it. Thanks for joining me today. Follow me on the places. Maria Makes Mix on Instagram and YouTube and Ribbler. Let me know if you have any topic suggestions or if you have a condition that you want to talk to me about. I love you. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you next week. Bye.